LATD Nation. What is good, family? We back in here with another video for y'all. Another quick movie review. My name is Jay, aka King J.
And this is RG from the 843.
And we got a very subtle episode for y'all. Very just chill and magnify. Anyway, nah, man. Like, we back in here with another video for y'all, man. What we talking about today, bro?
Today we are going to be giving y'all our review of Transformers 1, the latest installment in the long-running franchise. And yeah, let's get to it.
Just get to it. Shoot. Transformers 1 starring Chris Hemsworth playing Orion Pax, a.k.a. Optimus Prime, who will soon be known as Optimus Prime.
And Brian Tyree Henry as D-16, who will soon be known as Megatron. Also starring Scarlett Johansson as well as Keegan-Michael Key and a variety of other actors who have definitely, made their name in the industry and everything. Very recognizable people.
Yeah, like Steve Buscemi and Lawrence Fishburne. And out the gate, I'm gonna just say it right now. I love this movie, bro.
For sure, yeah, I can agree.
Like, I love this movie from the top to the bottom, because initially when we saw the trailer, we were all looking at it like, man, it's about to look whack. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we saw the trailers and we were like, ooh, I don't know, but I don't know if this is the one right here.
Yeah, like, because the thing is, it came off as kind of like, it was going to be like another kid's movie.
Yeah, it came off very juvenile, very childish. It just kind of seemed like it was going to be just a very dumb, sort of very dumbed down sort of, not pandering, but just very, I don't even know. Just it didn't seem like it was going to be anything of substance or anything that would be fitting for the Transformers property. I guess is kind of like my issue that I initially had with some of the trailers.
It was going to be more like that movie Turning Red.
Oh yeah, that movie that I didn't see.
Yeah, that Pixar movie. Yeah, that was my main concern about it too. But I'm gonna be real, it took a whole 180 when we actually saw the movie, because
this movie is a perfect, not to interrupt you, but
ahead.
This movie is the perfect example of don't judge a book by its cover, because the trailers weren't really that good, but then when the reviews started coming out and I was seeing stuff like 85-90% on Rotten Tomatoes, I was seeing stuff like 4 out of 5 stars, I was seeing things like best Transformers movie ever. Now mind you, that's not necessarily the hardest achievement, because some of these movies have been pretty trash. Looking at you, Revenge of the Fallen and Age of Extinction.
And Last Night.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was trash too.
Last Night was more forgettable, if anything.
Yeah. Last Night's big cardinal sin is that it was just very forgettable. The fourth is just terrible on all ends.
I'll say this too. One of my favorite ones was Rise of the Beast that came out last year.
Yes, sir. That actually was a really good movie. Bumblebee was really good too.
Yeah, it's the Transformers franchise now is really taking a turn for the better, because I think it's because Michael Bay isn't directing them anymore. For
sure. Now that he's more just a producer and he doesn't really have presumably as much of a say or as much of a hand in how these movies are made. Right. That's for the better. We don't ever want to see Michael Bay's name attached to the directing credit ever again when it comes to Transformers. He, in every single sense, failed.
Right.
Not just Transformers, he failed Ninja Turtles too. Ooh. I remember when those trailers were coming out back in the day, and the turtles just looked scary. Like they looked roided out.
Like, my favorite Ninja Turtles movie was the TMNT one that came out in like 07. Thank you.
That was a good movie for sure. Yeah. Then he had Megan Fox in the movie, which as April, like, what?
Yeah, that didn't
make sense. How do you even get that?
Speaking of 07, the 07 Transformers, the first one, it wasn't bad.
That was a good movie
until they killed Jazz, but
But other than that, that was
whatever.
Probably the best live action movie until Bumblebee, and then
Rise of the Beast.
Yeah, I would say so.
But honestly, this one I can easily say is the best Transformers movie that I've ever seen.
It's up there for sure. I would put
my honest opinion.
I would put it in the top 3, if not top 2.
Oh yeah.
This movie, like you said, it pretty much took me completely by surprise. I was very impressed. First of all, the acting. Chris Hemsworth does a very good job as
or voice acting, rather more.
But yeah, no, the voice acting was really, really solid. Chris Hemsworth was kind of different from how I'm used to seeing him or how he's usually, what kind of roles he usually takes, because
Right.
you know, a decade plus of watching him as Thor, it's like I've seen him in other movies and I know what he's capable of, but it was nice to kind of see him sort of do something a little bit different. Most of the time, I couldn't even recognize that it was his voice. It was only in very specific moments in lines where I was like, oh, yeah, that definitely is him. But for the most part, he did a really good job as a young Optimus Prime, well, really Orion Pax.
Right.
He did a good job of portraying his humanity, sort of his, well, humanity is kind of crazy for a robot, but yeah, no. He did a good
his leadership and everything.
Yeah, his leadership, just his ability to inspire hope. He really made you believe that this was somebody that would grow into the Optimus Prime that we see later on. And I just think that it was really him. But in my opinion, Brian Tyree Henry had the most standout performance as D16 becoming Megatron, because the transition from him being a very sort of modest, meek, sort of unassuming and non-problematic minor to eventually becoming this sort of dictator-ass, very dark, very cold,
wrathful and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like you said, the whole change is just drastic, man. Because to be more on a more deeper level, he's more like by the book and very follow protocol and don't mess anything up. Which, ironically enough, if you see, we mostly see Megatron and Optimus Prime as how we know them now. So it was kind of cool to see Optimus Prime or Ryan Pax be this more of this mischievous, more like out there, more goofy type of caricature.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe not goofy, but more mischievous and more, hey, let's push the boundaries
immature.
a little bit. You know?
They definitely were a little bit more immature. This was before they kind of really came into their own. It became, as you said, the Optimus and the Megatron that we know them to be later on. So it was really cool and refreshing to see these characters be portrayed like this, because I grew up watching the Transformers movies. I grew up playing the Cybertron games, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron.
Love both of them.
And in all of that, they were already what we know them to be. They were already
the leaders of their own faction.
The leaders of their faction. They were already very serious, very stern. Just, they weren't very lighthearted. And I really liked seeing how these characters became who they became. I think that this movie did a really good job of portraying that.
But then a certain plot happens, and then like really, and it doesn't really affect Orion Pax too much, but D16 Megatron, he takes it a lot harder than anybody else, because the thing is, he was so dedicated to the protocol and to the rules and everything. His whole world pretty much turned upside down after the whole reveal that happens. And I want to spoil it, but I can't. But the thing is, when the script flips, he flips out with everything. Like it's heartbreaking to see how their friendship just deteriorates from that point.
Yeah, exactly. Because once a certain point is reached, they are never the same. They really, really have this rift that is driven between them, and
it just gets wider and wider.
Gets wider and wider, to the point to where by the time the movie is over, it's like these two
are sworn enemies.
Have gone from best friends to the worst of enemies. And the movie does a really good job of portraying that, because like I had mentioned to you the other day, this movie does a really good job as far as like how dynamic the storytelling is, because the movie it does start off lighthearted. It does start off very lighthearted, sort of like jokey, sort of fun. But then as time goes on, the movie becomes more serious, and it becomes more sort of emotional. It has a lot more emotional weight as time goes on, as these characters evolve, and as everything is revealed throughout the plot.
And really just complexity to it overall, because truth be told, the change that they both go through is really neither one of their faults, in my honest opinion. Yeah, you can say if you've seen the movie, then you know, but you can say that maybe D16 took things a little bit too far. But truth be told, in my honest opinion, his rage was justified.
Yeah, I do agree.
To a degree. Like,
yeah, for sure. Not to cut you off, but yeah, his rage definitely, like, seeing the movie, I understand how he got to where he got to, but the way that he goes about it isn't necessarily right. It's kind of almost like an MLK versus like a Malcolm X.
Well, a more vengeful Malcolm X.
A very, very vengeful Malcolm X at that.
Exactly. That's how their fight has always been. Just think of it true as like Magneto versus Charles Xavier.
Yes, very much
but
so.
But Magneto's cranked up to 11. Because the thing is, as soon as Megatron gets that rage, he never lets it go. And that's the whole saddest part, like we said, about their friendship, because you see how close they are in the beginning and how they like to cut up and have a good time and everything. And D16 saves Optimus or Orion Pax the whole time. But just seeing their friend, it's very relatable, very, very touching in the beginning. Like, man, these two guys are cool, but when that rift really just does happen, it's just really, really heartbreaking for me. Because I remember I was in the movie theater. We recording this Saturday. We watched this on Thursday, right? I was in the movie theater after a certain scene happens. I was like, what? And the crazy part is why this is so good. You know they're supposed to be mortal enemies. You know they become mortal enemies. But just seeing how they become mortal enemies is what got me.
Facts, because the thing about Transformers is that as much as I've always been a fan of them, you could argue that the Transformers franchise has never been the most in-depth and it never had the most emotional complexity to it. It's just basically always been, two enemy robot factions just fighting each other, which who doesn't love that? It came from the era of the Saturday morning cartoon. Right. It didn't have complexity. It didn't need it.
It's pretty much robotic G.I. Joe, essentially.
Basically, but what I love about this movie is how they give us what we as fans come to a Transformers movie for. Exactly. The fighting, just the action, the war for Cybertron and beyond. But they did a good job of giving you a reason to really care about these characters beyond, these are just some characters I grew up with. Because, I love Optimus and Megatron and them because it's like I grew up with them. But in past iterations, there wasn't a whole lot of reason to really care about them like that. You cared, you wanted the Autobots to win because they were good, and you wanted the Decepticons to lose because they were evil.
Right.
But there wasn't really a whole lot of emotional weight or nuance to that. And this movie does a really good job of showcasing how complex their dynamic really is, and how much this whole issue between these two, like how long running it is, like how deep rooted it is. It does a really good job of giving you a reason to want to see the Autobots win.
Exactly. And first of all, another thing, who gives a very underrated performance, a very good performance in this movie was Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion. I didn't know it was him.
I had no idea.
Until I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear it now. But overall, same thing with Scarlett Johansson, same thing with Keegan-Michael Key. And that's another thing. The comedy doesn't undercut the dramatic scenes in this movie either.
Not in any way, shape, or form. Because the comedy is very, very well placed and well timed, and they know how to be funny when it's time to be funny, but when it's serious, dead serious.
Oh yeah, dead serious. And overall, this movie to me was just great, man. This is the most fun having a movie. This is the most fun watching a movie I've had since Into the Spider-Verse back in 2018. Like, this movie had no reason to be this good, but I'm glad it.
For sure.
But I'm glad it is. It's kind of like those moments in movies where it's like they show off, but they don't need to show off, because when Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime, and then the landing that he does, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is cold, bro. It's like
facts.
It was like the leap of faith scene from Into the Spider-Verse, man, when he jumps backflips off the building, and you see I'm stuttering right now. It
was just a great movie. It's like,
bro.
When a movie surprises you, in my opinion, a lot of time that's the best experience. Like, it's one thing when I expect a movie to be good and I have hype and I have anticipation for it, but when I count a movie out and then I go to the theater and it's like it surprises me, I'm like, okay, this right here is gonna be an experience. Even if it's not one of my favorite movies ever, I still enjoy the experience of seeing it, because it's just like, it's like I remember how this movie really caught me off guard and really made me anticipate, because now I'm really excited for the next.
Yeah.
Because like when a Transformers movie comes out, it's like I'm gonna see it because it's Transformers and because I love Transformers, but I've never really been the type of person to sit down and have real anticipation for the next Transformers movie. Now I'm just really, really excited to see where they go next and what they're gonna do with what was established. So yeah, this movie did everything right in my opinion. Great action, performances, dialogue, character work, animation. There's pretty much no weakness to this movie.
Exactly. I think I told you this though. The only gripe, quote unquote, that I guess I would have, like, it's really not a big deal, is that I thought it was a tad bit, I guess, cliche in some areas, but
for sure, it definitely was. But it wasn't a bad thing.
But the thing is, my thing is, I'd rather be cliche in a very fully cohesive movie like this one is, than it be like something original than be some bull crap at the end of it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Because sometimes when you try to do too much to be original, quote unquote, it ends up being garbage. Look at After Earth.
look at M Night Shyamalan's movies. Some of them.
You got to give him credit where it's due.
M Night Shyamalan is very hit or miss. Like the Unbreakable series was good. Glass was great. Unbreakable was great. But then, wait, was it Glass? It was Split. Split was all right. Split was good. Unbreakable was great. And then Glass was just kind of eh.
For sure. And then that last one, Trap, was okay.
Trap.
Trap was okay. I mean,
yeah.
Great performance.
Right.
But everything else was kind of, it felt too long. That's another thing. It felt way too long.
But anyway, nah, this just, sorry, we getting off track, but this movie right here I don't know what else to say about it that I can say. For me, it's a solid 10 out of 10. A flawless victory, bro. For what
it was and what it accomplishes, yes, yeah, I would also agree.
Yeah, flawless victory, 10 out of 10, man. I can't. This is one of my favorite movies of the year.
Same here. I would definitely co-sign that.
It's up there with Doom Part 2. For me.
I'm gonna have to get back to you with Doom Part 2 because, be real with you, I like the movie, but I don't even remember it like that. I only saw it that one time.
Okay.
My fault, y'all. You know.
And no, it's fine.
It'd be like that. But yeah, Dune Part 2, I did like it a lot. The action was great. The cinematography was unbelievable. I just need to rewatch it. But I did really, really enjoy the movie. Don't get it twisted. I did like this movie a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Transformers 1, flawless victory for me as well. Like I said, I can't wait for the next one. Can't wait to see what they do with it. Y'all go out and y'all support this movie because I do want to see another one. I need a sequel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Please
go see this movie. I don't want us to go back to the era of Michael Bay Transformers movie. He just has a production credit on this movie. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah,
I don't want him.
No.
I don't want him stepping back into the director's seat.
Think about it like this: if you don't support this movie, Michael Bay comes back. Think about it like that. Go see this movie. Just go and enjoy yourselves, y'all. Like, I don't.
You think the Decepticons are a threat to Cybertron?
I can't take my hat off.
Nothing on Michael Bay.
But Michael Bay is Unicron, bro.
Like, nah, for real.
He's the destroyer of worlds, and especially this one. But man, y'all, like, just go enjoy yourselves. Go see a great movie.
For sure, yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead. Do yourself a favor and go ahead and support this movie, man. Go ahead.
But with that being said, this has been your boy Jay.
And this has been Rodney.
We're LATD. Go look at this movie.
Yes, sir.
But most importantly, look at the details,
yes,
y'all.
Sir.
Peace.